Welcome to Rise Up in Business, the law podcast for small business owners. This podcast is designed to share important legal information without the stuffy legal jargon. I'm Tracy Milacrane. Let's get into today's episode. Hello everyone, and welcome back to the second episode of Season 7 of the podcast. This season is by far my favourite season so far on the podcast, and you'll see why as more and more episodes drop. It has been such fun and full of excitement and energy planning this season for you, and I absolutely cannot wait to hear what you think. In today's episode, I'm going to dive into a topic that I am asked about a lot, and that is DIY template legal documents. People say to me often, are templates any good for my legal documents? Can I use them? And my starting point when I answer this is, it depends. And I'm going to tell you why. You have heard me say, no doubt, on the podcast and on social media and in my emails, if you're on my email list, that DIY is for Bunnings, not for your legals. And I'm going to explain to you why it is that I say that. If you think about Bunnings and doing a DIY from Bunnings, why do you do it? So in my experience, I've done it. I don't do it anymore because I realised I'm not very good at that, not particularly handy. But when I look at people at Bunnings, or when I am talking to people about going to Bunnings, I ask, why do you do it? And some of them say to me, it's spontaneous. It's a last minute thing. I got up on the weekend and I felt like it was a really good idea that, oh my gosh, we need this in the house. And I just did that to my husband on the weekend. We woke up on Saturday and it was beautiful weather, and I decided it was time to clean out the entire garage. It took the entire day, but it was a spontaneous thing. It was spur of the moment because the weather was good and I felt the vibe. People do that when it comes to DIYing at Bunnings. The second thing people say to me is, I just don't know where to start to get it done professionally. So think, your kitchen or your outdoor landscaping. I don't know where to go to get that done. So, I'm not even going to bother. I'll just go to Bunnings and do it myself. Other people say to me it's probably cheaper, because when they say probably, they're factoring in the costs of getting somebody to come in and fix it up later. So it's probably cheaper. And others say, I really don't care enough about it to put in a great deal of time or money. I had a plumber come over once, probably would have been about 12 months ago, and it was a weekend and it was a urgent matter. Anyway, he'd said to me, it's really funny because when he goes into Bunnings on the weekends, he can just see the influx of people DIYing, and he chuckles to himself, particularly down the aisles that he needs to go for his supplies, because he says to himself, I'm going to see some of these people later, they're going to have to call me out. And sure enough, they do, because that seems to be the essence of DIY. There's always an element of, I'm going to have to throw my hands up at some point and get in the experts. The same thing goes when it comes to your legals. But those are the most common reasons that I know of that people like to DIY it at Bunnings. So with that in mind, let's take a look at that in terms of your legals. So spontaneity. This should never be something that comes up when you're thinking about your legals. Your legal documents are a critical part of your risk mitigation strategy in business. Your risk mitigation strategy in business is your insurance, your business structure, and your legal documents. So you need to think about each and every one of those really carefully, and you need to plan for them and you need to get them right. And that is because there is serious consequences if you don't get those things properly. And in terms of legals, that can mean you're not legally compliant and there's repercussions there. And it can mean that your risk is increased. For the love of all things good in the world, when it comes to risk, you don't want to increase it. You want to mitigate it. You want to reduce it. Your legal documents are a part of doing that. If you don't do it, you could be sued and you're exposed. If you're a sole trader, you could lose your house. You can lose your income capacity. If you're a company operating your business and things go pear-shaped and you don't have a risk mitigation strategy in place, your company can be wound up. You can literally lose everything when you don't have a proper risk mitigation strategy in place. Your legal documents are a part of that. They're a core pillar. So this is not something that we wake up on Saturday morning and think, yeah, I feel great, I feel the vibe, I'm going to get my legals done. So spontaneity really shouldn't come into it. The next point I said about DIYing at Bunnings is that you don't know where to start to work with a professional. Well, let this be your sign. If you haven't already worked with me or if you haven't reached out to me to do something, let this be your sign that it's really easy to work with a professional in relation to your business legals, especially a team like ours who specialise only in small business law. So it really is a very simple and easy process. Trust me, it's not overwhelming. So that's the second thing. The third thing that people say is it's probably cheaper. Well, it may well be cheaper at the first touch point, but we need to have a look at cost in terms of what's it going to cost you to not have them done. The answer to that is how long is a piece of string? Quite seriously, how long is a piece of string? Because you don't know what your next stages are going to be in your business journey, and we don't know what tomorrow brings. So if you're not protected, who knows? The sky's the limit on the list of things that can go wrong in your exposure. And the fourth thing is when people say, I really don't care enough about it, like my landscaping or my kitchen, to put a great deal of time or money into it. This makes my blood run cold when I hear this, when we're thinking about this in terms of legals, because your legals, for the reasons I just outlined, being part of your risk mitigation strategy, you need to care enough about it to put a great deal of time or money into it because they are vital. Your legals are vital to the long-term sustainability and success of your business. So when I say DIYs for Bunnings, not for your legals, I'm saying it in that container. Those are the main reasons people think that it's really cool and it's a great idea to DIY at Bunnings, but they don't translate into legal documents. None of them do. So again, really, DIYing your legals probably isn't the best place to start. Now, if I said to you, when you're talking to me about building or planning to build your new house, if I said to you, how are you budgeting or planning for that? You would be able to answer me. You would have the plan. You would know where the budget sits. You'd know the allocations of costs. It's exciting. It's your first home or it's your forever home or you're going to run your business from there or you're going to start a family from there. So imagine saying to a builder, mate, go easy on the foundations, hey. We don't want to spend too much time or money on that. Speed it up, cut out a few days. We want to bring the schedule forward a little bit and can you please use the cheapest material you can find? Imagine saying that to your builder. Chances are he's going to drop you like a hot potato, as he should, because that tells him everything about the person you are, where your values lie, and it also tells him that you know very little about this process. So he's going to think twice as whether he wants to work with you, and red flags everywhere at this point. Well, friends, I want to tell you, the same goes with your legal documents. If you take shortcuts on them, if you go light on clauses or if you go light on terms and what's included, or worse, in my view, if you have a template that sort of applies to some or most of your business and it sort of doesn't in other areas and, you know, it might work, but hey, it might not, but it'll be right because that won't happen to me. Or you're telling your clients that you don't know a great deal about running a business. So whilst you might be good at what you do in your business, you certainly don't know much about running the actual business. So, like I said, legal documents form part of your risk mitigation strategy. So if you're not across what you need to have in place and why, and if you're not across and fully supported in how to implement what's in your documents and execute those documents each and every time, then you're telling your clients all of it. You're telling your clients that you're not much of a business person, that you really don't understand or you're not aware of the importance of legal compliance and legal documents, and you're leaving yourself completely exposed and you're setting yourself up for a very rocky business journey. I have had clients come to me in tears after paying money for templates and then not being able to understand them, not feeling supported and lacking knowledge and confidence and clarity on whether or not they're covered by those documents and certainly how to use them. They don't know what to do with them. They're long, they're onerous, they're underwhelming. And when clients ask them questions after they issue them, they don't know how to answer them because they don't understand them in the first place. That is not what it should be like. It's really not. That, what I've just described to you, is one of the many reasons why I set up my business, because we are about doing it differently. We flip all that on its head to make the experience for you client-centric, confidence building, to leave you feeling empowered and crystal clear on what your documents are doing for you and how to use them. The reality is there is no substitute for preparation in business, and there are no shortcuts. Now, we can either learn that the hard way, or we can look to others who have done it, or we can surround ourselves with the experts who know what they're talking about. This is the case for business legals. There are no substitute for properly prepared and tailored business legals that work for you and your business, so that you know that you're compliant, so that you know that your particular service offerings are covered, and you know that your documents are reflective of your particular processes and systems. Every business is different. We might all run law firms, or we might run interior design businesses, or we might be business coaches, but the way we deliver our genius to our clients is different. The way we operate internally is different. No two businesses are the same. So legal documents really shouldn't be cookie cutter or copy and paste jobs. So when I'm asked if you can use legal templates in your business, and when I say to you that depends, it does. It depends on what your priorities are in your business. It depends on what your values are in your business, and it depends on your level of respect for yourself and your clients. So I'll explain to you when you ask me that, what it is that you need and why, and I'll go through what I just shared with you in this episode, and you can make a decision then on where this sits with you in terms of your risk mitigation, your professionalism, and ultimately your brand. That's how you'll make your decision on where on your list of priorities your legal documents sit. And if you're a client of mine, that's because it sits very, very, very close to the top, as it should, hand on heart. Finally, what I say in relation to all of that is there is no judgment here. I'm a believer that in business and life, when we know better, we do better. So if you're listening to this and you've used legal template documents, or you've copied someone else's, or you've Googled something, that's okay. Relax. It's okay. It's never too late to bring this to the top of your priorities list and take action. There is no judgment. So if it is the case that after hearing this, you're thinking, I really need to talk to you, Tracy, about my legal documents, please do. Please reach out, book in a time for a free chat via the website. The link is in the show notes. Or if you're listening to this and you're thinking, gosh, this resonates with me and my friend or my business bestie or my colleague really needs to listen to this, please take a screenshot or share the details with them, because my mission here is to get these episodes into as many ears of business owners as we possibly can, to add value and share the knowledge so that people are empowered and they can move forward with confidence, knowing that they're doing all of the things they need to do to build long-term, sustainable, successful businesses. Thank you for listening. I hope you have enjoyed this episode as much as I have enjoyed recording it for you. If you would like to have a chat, please reach out, book in a time that suits you for a free 20-minute chat. As I say, no judgment. I just really want to help, share knowledge and inform you so you can make decisions that best suit you. Thanks for listening. Catch you next time.